Kia ora, and welcome to this IT training tutorial video on line and paragraph breaks. Breaks let you split up text in your document. They can push your text into another area. These can go from the very small, like line breaks, to the very powerful, like section breaks. Remember that to see any breaks, you should turn on your non-printing characters from the paragraph group in your Home tab. Now we'll just start by talking about line breaks. So line breaks are used when you want to keep text within the same paragraph but control where an individual line ends. So these are really useful on your title page or whenever you don't necessarily want to start a new paragraph but you just want to shift text to a new line. So for example, I might have something here. I'll just rearrange this so that it looks like that's where I'd like this to break. I would go inside of a paragraph, and if I want to break up the paragraph, I'll just hold down the Shift key and then press Enter. And do you see how there's my break? It shows up as a sort of a right-angled arrow. And maybe I will do something like make another break wherever I like. So you can see I can do this any way I'd like. Now this happens to be centered text, so you can see I might just turn off the paragraph markers again so I can see what that looks like. So I might make this break up differently or in other ways, whatever I want to do. I might go down here and do a few more. So Shift and Enter, Shift and Enter. I'll do the same thing down here. And this is very common. This is how people do it. So you could have, of course, not done a line break, but just done a paragraph break. You've done millions of those. You just hit enter. But you see how my spacing has been set up so that I've got 1.5 spaces and I've got a big gap at the end of my paragraph, and that shows up and kind of looks a little bit odd. So if I do it this way instead, I can control that spacing because it's just using the internal spacing of those paragraphs. So it's your call how you would have broken up those paragraphs. Now the other break I want to talk about is just the plain old paragraph break, but what I want to say about those is that try just not to overuse them. So for example, if I want extra space in my document, I'm going to be here all day if I put those between every single paragraph. Can you imagine? So what we do instead is we build the space in instead on the inside of the paragraph by going into the style of the paragraph and modifying that. And that allows you then to have consistent spacing throughout your entire document. But as you can see over here, sometimes it's actually just worth it to go in and just hit the paragraph a couple of times. That would make sense over here, but perhaps not over there. Okay, so that's it. That concludes this video on line and paragraph breaks. Thank you for your attention. Kia ora.